Hey, what up friends? I hope you are enjoying your new set of poi. Today we are going to talk about the first trick that I usually teach to people. These are called reel turns, and they're going to teach you some really important stuff about how to spin with your poi. And the greatest part is that, as you can see, you can do these with basically no room to work with whatsoever. Yeah? Drex here from DrexFactor.com, helping to bring the love of poi spinning and flow arts into your world. And today, on the second day of my coronavirus locked in vlog and everything, I'm going to give you your first poi trick. Before we dive in, of course, I just want to give a quick shout out to the friends of the channel. Big thanks to Dark Monk, Flow Toys, Pyroterra Light Toys, LMF Props, Spinballs, and Ultrapoi for helping to make the videos on this channel possible. You can learn more about all these awesome companies and the work that they're doing to support flow artists like yourself by checking out the links that I've got down in the description of this video. Okay, so first up, housekeeping. I went for a run this morning and I was really surprised to find that a lot of businesses where I'm living are still open. And there's actually quite a bit of stuff still left on the grocery store shelves around me, which I can't tell if I'm just lucky like that or whether the places that things are getting stripped bare and everything are the exception rather than the rule. How is it where you're living? Please leave me a comment and let me know. I'm really curious what the extent of all that looks like right now. Also, because I was up way too late last night trying to weave together grocery bag rope in order to make a set of poi that, well, they worked. I don't know that they're much to look at. I totally missed the premiere of Westworld Season 3, so if any of y'all drop spoilers in the comments, I'm coming after you. Seriously, I was up until 1 editing that thing. I'm really hoping that this one goes more smoothly. And of course, a huge shout out to everybody who shared that video yesterday teaching y'all how to make your own sets of poi, because hopefully that's going to come in handy today, right? Also, you may notice that the poi I'm spinning are not the same poi that I made up yesterday, and the reason for that just simply is that these show up better on camera and everything. Cool, so let's start diving into our first trick that we're going to learn this week, reel turns. Now, this is always the first trick that I give anybody because there's some really important stuff about how poi spin that this teaches you, as well as the fact that, you know, you can do it in a pretty small area and everything. It's basically going to involve you turning from spinning your poi forwards at your sides to spinning them reverse at your sides, which, of course, as some of you may have already figured out from just watching me do that, there's a little trick to this because from the camera's perspective, the direction that the poi were spinning in didn't change. But from my perspective, they definitely do. So what on earth is going on here? Well, basically, you can think of poi as they spin as kind of like having a heads and a tails side. That is, no matter what, there's always going to be a side from which it looks like the poi are going to be spinning clockwise relative to me, counterclockwise relative to you. So, for example, if I spin it clockwise relative to me, it looks like counterclockwise to you right now. But if I turn around, it looks like clockwise to you now as well. Basically, it's a matter of perspective. And when we turn back and forth between these two sides, we're really working on figuring out how to switch, whether we're on the heads or the tails side of the poi spinning. Clear as mud, don't worry about it. This is one of those cases where I'm just kind of like nerding out on theory and everything, and you don't really need to know it. So let's start off with the stuff that you do need to know. I always think that it is helpful when learning a trick like this to start off with the poi wrapped up and just move your arms in the way that the poi would be. Kind of going forwards at your sides like this, like wagon wheels and everything. Now, when I turn from one side to another, what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to pass both of my hands across the same side of my body and then turn all the way around and start swinging my hands backwards. There's something interesting going on here that I didn't get when I was first taught this move. Essentially, as you're doing that turn, you see how there's basically like separate tracks on either side of me that each of my hands and poi are riding in and everything? When I want to make the turn, I need to switch both of my hands and poi over to the same track so they can pass by me without running into me. Once I've completed that turn, they switch back to being in separate tracks, one on each side of me, yeah? So they come together into the same track and then separate out. They come together into the same track and separate out, yeah? Try doing that just with your hands for a moment to get a feel for it. And from the side, it's going to look something like this, where at first, when I'm going from forwards to reverse, I sweep my hands down past my hips, and when I'm going reverse to forwards, I bring them up past my eyeballs, yeah? Okay, so next step, let's see if we can do this with the poi then. We're going to start them spinning over on our sides, and as with like literally everything when it comes to poi spinning, my recommendation for you here is going to be that you ought to spin them as slowly as you possibly can while still keeping them in motion. Longer poi you can spin slower. Shorter poi are going to wind up spinning faster. That's just like the physics of it and everything. So whatever is the speed that is slowest given the length of your poi, that's where you want to be. Now, from here, I'm going to take that knowledge and try and sweep both poi down past my ankles and then turn around to have my poi spinning reverse, yeah? You'll note I'm now facing the opposite direction from where I started, yeah? Next up, I'm going to bring those poi up past my eyeballs so I can turn back to spinning forwards, yes? So it's past the ankles to reverse, past the eyeballs to forwards, past the ankles to reverse, past the eyeballs to forwards, yeah? So if you're having troubles, generally speaking, I can narrow down to one of three particular issues. The first one, how do you get both of your poi into the same track? Well, that's going to involve doing something that I like to call a tic tac. That is, you're switching your poi back and forth across your body, yes? So it starts on the right side, then goes to the left side, left side, and there's this little point straight out in front of you that it kind of crosses through as it goes back and forth between those 2 points, yeah? Now again, the best way I know to train this is actually to just use your hand to start with. Like, try seeing if you can have your arm turn around forwards until it gets straight out in front of you on your right side, and then turn around on your front side till it comes back out. So on your right side, boom. On your left side, boom. On your right side, boom. On your left side, boom. Each time you come from this central point right here, you're dropping your hand down past your foot like you're doing the crawl stroke, yeah? And again on the left side, again on the right side, again on the left side, again on the right side, yeah? Cool. So once this starts to feel relatively smooth, let out the poi just a little bit and carry your poi along as though it's like an extension of your arm going back and forth and everything, yeah? So once you get relatively comfortable with this, you can start to have your hand and arm doing smaller circles and just let the poi do most of the work there, yeah? So when you're switching from having your poi both spinning on the same side of you and everything, really what's happening is you're doing that thing with the tic tac where you're switching back and forth across the different sides, right? You just switch over, and that's how you get both of the poi in the same track here as they're going past your ankles. And of course, you're going to have to do the same thing on the other side of your body, except it's going to feel like a reverse direction. So your hand starts away from you and you reach it up past your shoulder like you're doing the backstroke, out in front of you again. Like you're going past your left side doing the backstroke, your right side doing the backstroke, your left side doing the backstroke, and let the poi out as you're doing this. And like, this should feel more or less, at least on the poise end, like you're conserving energy here. It may feel a little unnatural for your arm. Your arm may just want to go back to doing that forwards version of the weave on this side, and you should keep it from doing that. But you could also think of it as basically like doing an underhand serve, like throwing the poi away from you as you go across your right and your left side and everything. And once you have that done, of course, you do the reaching up past your eyeballs to come back to forwards, yeah? So if you're having problems getting them both in the same track, those tic tacs are going to help you get there. Another thing I find a lot of people have problems with is when they're going from reverse to forwards. One of those things that'll happen is they'll either get one of their hands or both of their hands back behind their head or shoulder. As you're spinning from reverse to forwards, I really want you to see both of your hands going past your eyeballs, going from reverse to forwards. Like, you should actually have a check that they're both just like, here, I'm going to switch around just a little bit here, that they both just, boom, go past your eyeballs like that, almost as if you're like reading lines off of your hands or something like that, yeah? Finally, a lot of people really get tripped up, like trying to get through the timing of this turn and everything. I really think it's helpful here to emphasize the turn by getting your whole hand and shoulder unit involved in it. Think of your poi as being extensions of your arms as they're going through these turns. So reach really far down and around and really far up and over as you're making these turns. We already know how to do these successfully with our arms, so let's let our arms kind of be in the driver's seat as we're doing this and everything, yeah? Cool. Now I'm going to show that to you in slow motion from a couple different perspectives. All right, I hope that was helpful, and yay, your first poi trick. I want to see y'all out there doing these. If you are willing and able, pretty please take video of yourself getting this trick down and post it to Facebook or Instagram, and go ahead and tag me on there. I am DrexFactor on Instagram or DrexFactorPoi on Facebook and everything, and I'm going to try in future videos in this week to take stuff that y'all have made videos of and everything and feature it in some of these episodes so that we can, as a community, kind of see and recognize each other's work and everything, because I think that that's important to feel connected through all of this. And hey, if you are super interested in skipping ahead and learning a bunch more poi, if you got the time to do that and everything, head on over to my website at drexfactor.com. There's a little sign-up form on the front page and everything where you can sign up for a course that gets delivered to your inbox called Spin Poi Like a Rockstar. It covers everything that I'm going to be teaching this week, as well as a whole bunch of other stuff and everything. So if you feel like you're a more advanced student and want more stuff to work with and everything, that is a great way to go about doing it. Please help me boost the signal on this effort. If you are getting something out of these videos, or you know somebody that you think would get something out of these videos, pretty please, sharing is caring. Give me a like and share it, and make sure that other people are able to enjoy these things with us, yeah? And that poi just died. Well, I guess it's time to charge it. If you could also please support this endeavor by heading over and signing up to support the work that I do over on Patreon. I'm at patreon.com/DrexFactorPoi. I would really appreciate it. Big thank you to all of these nice folks who have already signed up to do that and who make this video and all the videos on my channel possible and everything. So if you are able, I would really appreciate it, and it will help keep this effort alive, yeah? So tomorrow we're going to talk about butterfly and thread the needle, and I'm going to give you all your first example of a trick that is done in what we would call wall plane, and I will explain what that actually means, yeah? So thanks so much for watching, and please take care of yourselves, and I hope you all out there are happy, healthy, and spinning. Yes? Cool. Thanks. We'll get through this together.